of his eyes. Sit right down, we're gonna give you the scoop with Ryan Pfeiffer and Lisa Doop. Stammer, ding dong, loop de loop. This is the story of a guy named Mr. Boop.
You're listening to Being Mr. Boop. Well, we're still on 211 consecutive days, and all because of one little sense of commitment that won't let me stop. My name is Ryan Pfeiffer, and I am Mr. Boop.
My name is Lisa Doop, and I'm Mr. Boop. What an appropriate tagline.
Lisa,
230
not really,
days
because
now.
it's 213 days, so
Yeah,
it's not really appropriate.
Did I put 211?
Yes, when did you write that?
A while ago.
Huh.
I
So
think
it just happened to be 2 days after?
Yeah, I think I miscalculated.
What do you mean miscalculated? It
episodes-
comes up randomly.
No, I miscalculated how many episodes of Mr. Boop was. I think I wanted to say like
Oh, interesting. Wait.
the website, because the website, it's when it lists the strips, it says
Oh, it says
211
211
to
to... I see.
yeah.
Yeah. You misread it.
What a coincidence.
Not really, because it's still off.
What a
It's still, if it would be a coincidence if we did it 2 days ago. Lisa, it's Monday, December 28th, 2020, and today we're reading the 203rd... What? 230th? 30'd?
211th.
Okay, yeah, there you go. What happens in today's Mr. Boop?
In today's Mr. Boop, Bugs asks important questions.
He sure
Okay.
does in this strip that I'm looking at right now.
Yes, that we both have right in front of
We
us.
have... My God, do you not have it open either?
I don't have it. I was
Wow,
too focused
you
on
would
the
think
intro.
by the last week of recording this, we would have been more prepared.
I mean,
Shadow
if you know, I'm knowing
synopsis.
this show.
Shut up. Shadow synopsis. 4 remain.
Wow.
What is that? What could that mean?
What
we'll never
could
know.
it mean? I mean, what was the shadow synopsis of yesterday's? Was there any?
Merry Xmas, 1 week left.
Merry Xmas, everyone!
It's not. It's Boxing Day now. Actually,
Yes. Well, no,
actually,
it's not Boxing Day.
it's not. Yeah, it's December
it's New
28th.
Year's Eve.
Eve.
Yes.
Probably not that many.
It's New
Eves.
Year's Adam. Panel 1!
What's the secondary shadow synopsis, Lisa?
We're in the final stretch. One every day this week, but heads up, the finale will not be posted early. You'll have to wait to see it with everybody else. Sorry.
Oh, interesting. Didn't want anyone spoiling it. You weren't going to read that until the end, were you?
No.
Even
I
though
wasn't.
it's definitely a secondary shadow synopsis and an afterthought. That's what we should call them. Too late to add terms. We can't.
Okay, do you have it in front of you now?
Yeah, 4 panels.
Yeah, oh, wow. Panel 1, we see...
Reason through this.
We see an angry Bugs Bunny in the the background, and Alec Robbins'
Alex
head
in the foreground.
Alec has been beaten up. Bugs Bunny is in his Quiznos uniform and has a gun.
He's been even more beaten up than in the last strip because now the frames of his the lenses of his glasses are cracked, not shattered, but like cracked enough that they look like they should be shattered.
Yeah.
It's also a pretty consistent crack pattern. Like if you look later in the strip, it's the same pattern. It's like consistent, weirdly consistent for a strip like this.
Mm.
And by strip like this, I don't mean this 213. I mean Mr. Boop in general. I don't feel like stuff like that is usually... I don't know, maybe it is.
Alec says, "I'm not lying. I don't know what you're talking about."
He says it
And
in
Bug
he
says-
says it in a British accent.
"I'm not lying. I don't know what you're talking
I
about."
don't know why you had to reread it in a British accent when you already read it in a British accent.
No, I know.
It wasn't that British, to be clear.
Well, it's a different type of British, but
That's in the top left corner of the panel, and in the bottom right corner of the panel, in an electro bubble, it says, "Fuck you, Alec." 2 electro points. Stop it with the bullshit. 2 electro points. Doesn't sound anything like Bugs Bunny. But it is Bugs Bunny.
Yes. As we all know.
He is in the top right of the panel. Alec is head is in the bottom left. He's got some here. This is a little inconsistent. With later in the strip, so I guess we'll point it out then. Whatever. It's his facial
structure.
Disfigurement.
Yeah.
There's like a little bit of blood underneath the glasses which is colored in to be blood, but in panel 3 when we see it again, it's like clear, like it's tears.
Oh yeah, no, I see. Yeah,
but
on Alec.
And there's also hashtags on his face because he's beaten up. A little bit of drool coming from the corner of his mouth. No, we even need to describe Bugs' pose.
Sorry. All right.
He stanced up. We gotta give this.
He's aggressive.
Give this full. And the background is rendered too. It's not like nothing. You know, we see the corner of maybe the Quiznos basement or something, wherever this is. And there's stains on the wall. This is with the drool coming from Alec's mouth and the stains on the wall. This is like those Keith Stack comics you like.
Yeah, I do like those.
So Bugs is
he's hunched over.
He's the other one. Alec is British and drooling, so I guess he would be both of them.
That's true.
There's not actually any indication that Alec is speaking British. We can just tell.
No, we can. We can tell. Whenever I read his dialogue, he's British.
His hair is messed up. That's another thing, which means there's more like details in his hair, like more little lines of like little V's of detail in his shaggy hair. Because it's not just... I mean, usually I guess there would be like little... there would be lines indicating it's like pushed back, but now they're V's instead because it's like messy. Bugs is still wearing his Quiznos uniform. He looks angry. And he's holding a gun. Panel 2.
Bugs. It's a close-up of Bugs. He's got tears in his eyes now.
That was the flapper shot in panel 1.
Yeah, that was the flapper shot. This is continuing. And he says, "This has all happened before, and it was fake then too." And that's
now Bugs is speaking British.
Yes.
That was in an electro bubble, and there was 2 electro points after 2. There's tears welling up under his eyes, and he's angry. He's losing it. He's still hunched.
He's showing off.
We don't. Wait, go on.
He remembers the events of Act 1, but only in but at least with this shows that he remembers Act 1 at least, right? We didn't know that beforehand. We just thought he knew that something was up, and now he's showing more awareness.
Do you think he looks more like Bugs Bunny when he's angry?
Do you think he looks more like Bugs Bunny? I guess so.
When he's angry. I mean, compare him to in the last panel when he's not angry. I feel like he looks more like Mr. Boop Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it's because his eyes are
I think
more...
it's also because he's not as close. I think in close-up, Alec prefers to can draw a Bugs Bunny more accurately.
I think it's his face shape. But even though his mouth is all fucked up, the background is not rendered. It's just dark. The whole panel is dark except for the speech bubbles. It's all in the dark. Do you think he chose to have all these last strips take place in the dark because it takes more effort?
I think
and
he's
so
just trying to
it's like it's special because I'm putting more effort in and it's dark.
I think he's trying to establish establish a darker tone, right? It's like, boom. This is serious.
Maybe.
Bugs Bunny really means it. I was thinking about how it's really interesting how this strip interacts with the fourth wall. You know?
Yeah.
He's aware that yeah, I mean, he's aware that he's aware that it's what Alec is creating, right? But as a character within that, the only way he can affect that is by causing physical violence upon Alec. You know?
Is he aware that it's something Alec's creating? He says he knows it was fake, but I don't think he fully understands what's going on though.
Yeah.
He just knows it's not real to an extent. Matrix style.
Panel 3.
He has a feeling.
It's a close up of Alec and he's got no eyes.
Westworld.
Cool I guess it's that cool anime effect.
There's your Westworld reference for the week. No more in the entire series.
You reached the end of Westworld talk.
I just didn't want to. I just feel like it was such a current thing because I was watching through Westworld that I don't want to like keep it going till the end of the series. Yeah. So I have to cut it off. I have to cut myself off, even though I still see so many similarities.
Alec, from off panel, Bug says, "I remember Electries, snippets, Electries, little flashes of memories." And Alec responds,
"Electries."
Yes.
You forgot the third one.
Oh, yeah,
There's 3 Electries, one for each dot in the Electries. He's not yelling anymore, so it's not an Electro bubble.
He's sad. I feel like it's a really it's to hear from this character in this context. I feel like, I mean, I remember snippets, little flashes of memories is obviously meant to be dramatic, but I feel like it's could be a little cliched. But I feel like there is hearing this character in this context say it gives it more meaning, more power than.
Do you think it's interesting because it's Bugs Bunny, and Bugs Bunny is the sort of character that sort of just like makes more sense in sort of like a Westworld scenario? I'm sorry. Look, like Bugs Bunny, is a cartoon character that is like very formulaic. He's a formula-centric cartoon character where it's like he is kind of whenever a new cartoon starts, it's just like, oh, new adventure, or like whatever happened at the end of the last one doesn't matter. It's a new thing. So Bugs Bunny in particular is a character that's very much like that, more than Peter Griffin,
I feel like
more than Betty Boop, I would say, because her cartoons are less formulaic.
I've been watching a lot of old Betty Boop cartoons just in my free time,
and they're more unique from cartoon to cartoon, right? That more than Bugs Bunny, who's like, oh, he woke up in his little rabbit hole and someone's bothering him. Yeah.
And what does Alex say?
Alex says, "I'm just in love with my wife, Betty Boop." Electries.
I love this line of dialogue. I quoted this to people before. When I showed some
of Alex's face, and he's still beaten up. His glasses are cracked in the same way he's drooling. Sorry, go on.
I once showed this when I think when I showed this to Max, the comic to Max the first time. When he finished it, he said, "What the fuck was that?" And I showed him an edit I made of this panel where he says, "He's just in love with his wife, Betty Boop." To be like,
how did you edit it?
Yeah, I made the edit.
I don't understand. So you edited the dialogue to say, instead of "I'm just in love with my wife, Betty Boop,"
he's just in love with his wife, Betty Boop.
So he's referring to himself in like the third person.
I don't remember the full context.
Alec is just in love with his wife, Betty Boop. Says I, Alec.
Says Alec. Alec.
Says Alec.
Alec Robbins.
He wouldn't say "says I," because that would be. It'd be like Elmo saying "says I." It'd be like, oh, Elmo is in love with being in Elmo's world. Says Elmo.
Says I, Elmo.
No, yeah, says I. Elmo. It wouldn't work. It doesn't work like that.
So Alec really just wants to keep his world simple, to the basic premise of the thing. He doesn't want to introduce any of this drama. He's just
he
in love
doesn't.
with his
He
wife
doesn't
Eddie.
know. He doesn't understand.
Yeah.
He says that in panel 1. He really doesn't understand.
But I'm wondering. I don't know if he is playing dumb or if he doesn't understand.
I think he
It's up
doesn't
to a level.
understand.
Yeah, it's up to interpretation.
He's fallen into his fantasy.
That's true, but how
He doesn't want to understand.
That's true. That's the more poignant thought.
But I think he doesn't understand because he doesn't want to understand.
Yeah.
I don't
He
think
doesn't
he's.
want
I don't
to.
think he's pretending because he doesn't want to. I think he really doesn't want. He really doesn't understand because he doesn't want to.
Bugs Bunny
In panel 4,
Panel 4 reads
close up
says-
of
it's
Bugs Bunny.
close-up of-
A little bit different than the one in panel 2
it's a
because
mid
it's
shot, I think.
because he's. Well, actually, I guess it's pretty much the same shot as panel 2, but now he's not hunched over in anger anymore. That's the difference, and he's got his hand up next to his chin. He's still crying, but he's not angry anymore, so he's not hunched over. And he's still in his Quiznos uniform. The comic is still about Quiznos all the way to the very end. It's
Wow.
always been about
Panel
Quiznos.
1. It was Quiznos.
What if this whole comic has been an elaborate setup to product placement for Quiznos? It's just like panel 4 of the last strip. It's like Quiznos, eat good in the neighborhood.
And Bug says, "Have we ever had sex?" Now we talked about this last week with Jonathan.
In
We
3
didn't
different
know-
panels.
I couldn't remember if he had sex, but this, yeah,
Yes.
you guys could remember. And this
It was a
confirms it for me.
3-way, which is why the dialogue is in 3
Yes. Now, I wanted-
speech bubbles here.
I want to
Had
point
is in
out,
one bubble, sex is in another, and then have we ever is in the first bubble.
Yeah. I wanted to point out that
Taking up half the panel.
despite taking this dramatic turn, right, Mr. Boop is still a very funny comic. And this would have... Reviewing
This
this
is
in
a funny panel.
Exactly. Reviewing this in a... If I wasn't looking at this with
this
a
is
tight lens, this would be so funny to me.
I think this was probably one of the first strips I saw on my second reading of it, because I when I first read Mr. Boop, because I was not reading it consistently as it ended. I reread it all like right as it had ended, or right as it was about to end. I don't remember, but this was probably one of the first strips I saw in that point. I know it was like this scene was playing out when I checked into it again. I was like, oh shit, what's happening with Mr. Boop? Is it over? Let me see. And then it's like, oh, this scene's happening. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. More. This seems like a normal Mr. Boop scene, you know.
Yeah, this is just like what happens in Mr. Boop.
Yeah, Bugs
Have
Bunny
we
tries to
ever
kill.
had sex?
Yeah.
The age-old question. The age-old question.
What's the age-old question?
I think, well, have they ever had sex? Because have you ever truly had sex? If it's in a fantasy reality, no, and that's not my real takeaway from this. I think that this showcases how well Alec balances the elements of Mr. Boop. It's feel good. This isn't feel good. It's feel good. It's dramatic, and it's also funny. And I feel like book 4 was sort of like deconstructing the idea of Mr. Boop, right? Taking away the humor and the drama.
Where will it go from here?
Yeah. Wow. And I feel like
I can't wait to see what happens in volume
What?
5.
Whoa!
Only 4 strips away. Can you believe
Wow.
it?
Wow. I can't. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on. What were you saying?
No, that was basically it. He really balances the comedy and the drama of the situation. You'd think that the fact that it's Bugs Bunny all throughout would make this... The fact that it's Bugs Bunny doesn't stop it from being any less dramatic. But it also does kind of... The last panel, or at least the last 2 panels, like, really do a good job of reminding you, this is a funny little strip, isn't it? And then
I don't think it's trying to remind that
I feel like
necessarily.
But it
It
makes
just
me
is funny.
It makes me reconsider what I've seen in the first 2-3 panels with the context of, oh yeah, this is Bugs Bunny and they've had sex before, and I'm like, yeah, it adds to it. I think it's sort of it's a tension reliever.
I don't think it's. I think the fact that it's not a tension reliever is what's funny about it. It's treating it completely.
No, yeah, he's treating the character is treating it
I
seriously.
guess
but
just
it
the
is like-
line "Have we ever had
Yeah.
sex?" is kind of a tension reliever because it's just like, I guess it very much is calling attention to the absurdity.
it's
of
the first Mr. Boop we've seen in a long time that I feel like has a punchline.
In a way.
Mm.
In a way. I mean, I don't think it's much more of a punchline than him thinking something screwy.
Oh, that's I suppose so.
Because that's like a break in the flow, which was just silence, and this is a break in the flow. Maybe not, I don't know what I'm talking. Whatever. We got 4 more of these to do, so whatever. This is good. You've been listening to Being Mr. Boop, now being sued by no less than 3 separate parties. You can visit the show's website at www.beingmrboop.com for a full catalog of episodes, and for more updates, follow at Mr. Boop Pod on Twitter. I'm Ryan Pfeiffer, at FoodEater98 on Twitter. I only post pictures of my food. Also at CandyMillen06 and at Semi-Sweet Stuff for everything else I make.
I'm Lisa Dupe. Listen to Lisa Dupe and Bandcamp.com. Yeah. That's what I do.
And follow Lisa Dupe on Twitter.
Yeah,
If you want
gotta.
to, for some reason. If you're required to by state law.
Yeah.
Check your local state laws and see.
Check with
if,
your practitioner to see if the
if
Lisa Dupe tripping.
We're trying to get those laws revoked. I think it's a very unjust constitutional
This is such
I
a
feel like
fucked
I feel like
energy.
it is huh? I feel like it is
Riff
not
has such a fucked energy.
I feel like it's not constitutional for states to enforce this. So we are trying to get these state laws overturned, but in the meantime, just make sure you check your state laws to know if you need to be following Lisa Dupe on Twitter.
Lisa Dupe 2 on Twitter.
Lisa Dupe 2 on, well, that's the username. Yes. But yeah, just make sure you check that, and we will see you in the next episode, and we'll give you more
Uploaded
updates,
tomorrow.
Updates on that. No, we won't. Thank you and good night.
Thank you and good night.
This podcast was brought to you by the Pitch Drop Podcast Network. Like what you just heard? Support the show by going to patreon.com/pitchdrop. And while you're at it, check out pitchdrop.net for more of this and other shows.